Hi, fourth grade. We are going to take a look today at lesson 94, in which we are actually going to be looking at two-step or more processes when we're trying to solve a problem. Okay, so we're going to do word problem type things. So here we have a typical type of problem we might see on different things. Tom is 4 years older than Lisa. Lisa is 2 years younger than Kim. Kim is 14. How old is Tom? All right. Well, so the first thing we want to ask ourselves is, what do we know? A lot of information in there. Well, one thing I know for sure is Kim is 14. So we're going to say Kim equals 14. I also know that Tom's age is 4 years older than Lisa. So Lisa's age plus 4 more gives me Tom. I know that Lisa is Kim minus 2 because it says Lisa is 2 years younger than Kim. So I have 3 different listings here. Now what we start to do is look at the one that has an exact answer that there's no question about, and that's Kim is 14. So every place I see Kim in these other two, I'm going to put the number 14. So 14 is going to go here, and now I can go ahead and do my problem. 14 minus 2 equals 12. So Lisa's 12, but that's not what we want to find out. We want to find out how old Tom is. So we take Lisa's age, because it's Lisa plus 4, so Lisa goes here. Lisa plus 4 equals Tom, so 12 plus 4 equals 16 years old. And if we plug that back in, it should work. Tom is 4 years older than Lisa. We said Lisa was 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. Lisa is 2 years younger than Kim. All right, Kim minus 2 is 12, which is what Lisa's age is, and then Kim is 14. So we have those answers right. We can double check through them. All right, so we have to, this is one of those situations where we write down what we know, and we do it carefully, and we can come up with our answer, and then double check our work when we're done to make sure our answers are reasonable. That's one of those multi-step problems. Again, if you want to try and rush and get your answer, these are not your problems to do. All right, what number represents the blue dot? All right, so I have 300 here, and I have 400 here. I first have to figure out how much is each tally mark worth. So I have 100 between here, right? 300 to 400 is 100. Represents 100 right in here. Now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 100 divided into 4 pieces. So if I think of $1 divided into 4 pieces, it's 25, right? 4 quarters and $1. So then I think, okay, so this has to be 25, this has to be another 25, which makes it 50, this has to be 75. So when I look at my numbers, this would be 325, this would be 350, this would be 375. So when I figure out how much is this one worth, the blue dot then would be represented of 350. It's representing 350 by the blue dot, because I have 100 between here, and that broken down into 4 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means that each of those sections have to be worth 25. All right, the next type of problem is this one. Y equals 3x plus 2. What is y if x equals 4? Okay, I know x equals 4. So instead of putting an x here, I'm going to bring that down to do 3 times 4. 3 times 4. Okay, this dot represents in the middle of a thing is a multiplication. We can also just write it 3 times 4. I just didn't want you to get confused with the x. Okay, so 3 times 4 equals 12 plus the 2. So that means that y equals 14. Y equals 14. Now we can double check and make sure of that. If x equals 4, I have 3 times 4 gives me 12 plus 2 equals 14, and that's what y is. Okay? So we can solve for y by, if we know x, by plugging that number in where every x would be located. Again, another one of those multi-step problems, where if we know a number, then we can put it back in there and we can figure out our answer. All right. One more thing that I just kind of want to review with you. If you have something that is, there's this idea of if I had 34 squares filled in out of 100. So if I have 34 out of 100, then as a decimal, I would make it 0.34 here because there's 2 zeros behind the decimal point. That tells me how many numbers I'm going to need behind the decimal point. I mean, there's 2 numbers after the, or 2 zeros after the 1. Okay, so there's 2 zeros after the 1, so I have to have two numbers after the decimal point. And then my percent is just moving my my decimal point over 2, so I get 34%. Okay, that was one of those things that we've talked about in the past. And I think that's about it for today. Review through the things in your book for sure and make sure, make sure you know the concepts and what you're doing with that. Okay, have a good day, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. All right. And remember, if you do have any math questions, just give me a text, an email, something, and we'll figure it out.